Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, a couple of things that I want to discuss that are wrong with the way knowledge is being sought in the West. So, guys, knowledge has to be implemented. Knowledge, generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, is not sought as an objective in and within itself. Knowledge is sought as a means to an end. I'll give you an example. When you go to university and you study medicine, you don't study that degree just for the sake of having that knowledge, but you study it so that you can implement it as a doctor or a surgeon. Likewise, when you study Islamic knowledge, when you study hadith, when you study Arabic language, fiqh, you study it not in and within of itself, but you study it so that it can be implemented. The Quran is studied so it can be reflected upon, so it can be actualized and implemented in your life. You learn the Arabic language so you can understand the Quran, so you can implement it in your life. When you study fiqh, Islamic law, you study these things so you can implement these things in your life. Now, that is why we seek knowledge, and I feel like that is something that we need to understand. When I had this shift in terms of focus, and I'll have to be honest here and admit that I don't believe that I was really seeking knowledge to implement for a long time. But when you had that shift in focus, then you find that suddenly knowledge opens up for you. Knowledge opens up for you. Allah Azza wa Jal blesses your knowledge and He opens it up for you. And I experienced this in recent times, and that's why I want to share this with you. So, how should you study knowledge so that it can be implemented? Well, there are 3 tips that I'd like to give you, and I feel like these 3 things really help to make knowledge more implementable. The first thing is know why you are seeking this knowledge, and that is so it can be implemented. The second thing is when you are seeking knowledge, study one-on-one with a teacher. Now, when you study one-on-one, it's a completely unique experience. Imagine the difference between, and I'm sure many of you may have experienced this, being in a class, 30 kids being taught maths, English, science, and then having a tutor that teaches you one-on-one. They are able to identify your weak spots, your blind spots, immediately focus, give you tailor-made advice. Maybe you realize, okay, you're not learning very well in this way, but we can find another way to teach you. They can assess and identify your specific needs, your specific style of learning, and then based upon that, they can tailor-make the education for you. Having a teacher that can teach you one-on-one is a really, really, really mind-boggling experience in terms of the difference in impact and benefit. And I'm not saying don't attend the classes where there are many people that are there. No, those classes are beneficial, and the Sahaba did it. The Prophet ﷺ taught people en masse that way. But there were also times where the Prophet ﷺ sat down and explained things to Sahaba who had questions that they could come and ask him. Also, many of the Imams of the Salaf would do this. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala would sit with Rabi' ibn Sulaiman al-Muradi, who was one of his students who actually ended up carrying his madhab, his school of thought forward. He would sit with him sometimes after the class and go over the same issue with him 30 to 40 times. I don't remember the exact number, but something like that, just to make sure he understood it. And every time he said, no, I didn't understand it, until he would finally get it. Imam Shafi'i himself is the one who said, Ya akhi, my brother, he said, لَن تَنَالُوا الْعِلْمَ إِلَّا بِسِتَّةٍ. He said, my brother, you will not acquire knowledge unless you do 6 things. And from the 6 things, he said, was suhbatu ustad, to accompany a ustad, to accompany a teacher, to have a teacher that you can accompany. Not just that you can be present in his classes, but you can have a relationship with him. And a lot of the times, it comes through one-on-one classes. Even Jibreel taught the Prophet ﷺ one-on-one. And sometimes not one-on-one, but like small groups. This is how I studied pretty much my whole life. All of the teachers that Allah Azza wa Jalla blessed me with, I had either one-on-one or very small group classes. Sometimes we would be in those classes where the classes are being recorded and the Shaykh would teach, and then at the end he would say, when the camera's turned off, he said, did you guys get it? And we'd be like, Wallah Shaykh, we didn't fully understand. He said, okay, cool. He would open up the whiteboard and start drawing out graphs and things for us. And sometimes we would learn more outside the official lesson than inside the official lesson. Until today, I study with my teachers one-on-one. Alhamdulillah, I have on an average day about 3 hours of lessons, please say Allahumma barik, guys, that I do with my teachers, and this is one-on-one. Now you might say, well, where do I find a one-on-one teacher from? Well, Allah, man, you can find them all over the place. You can go to any one of your local masajid and you can say, look, who is the ustad, who is the teacher, who is the student of knowledge here? Who is the one that can teach me the things that I need to know to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? don't just go for the celebrity ustad or the celebrity sheikh. You know, one of the things that one of my teachers told me once, he said, everyone wants to go and study Thalathatul Usul with Sheikh Salih Fawzan. But Sheikh Fawzan's up here. Like, you go to Sheikh Fawzan to study like stuff that's at the caliber that he is at. But a guy who's studied in Medina for a year can teach you Thalathatul Usul. He could teach you that book. He could teach you these basic books. So point being is that, you know, you can go into your community, find someone, maybe someone who's been attending the classes, they regularly could teach you. Now, of course, he may not be able to teach you everything that you need to know, but the level that you're at, he could benefit you so much. So having that one-on-one experience. You can also find teachers online, and I would like to recommend to you an institute called Oasis Institute. I'll put the phone number below. You can message them on WhatsApp, and they'll arrange one-on-one teachers for you online. So you can have it offline in the flesh, you can have it online. I have a sheikh in Pakistan, I have a sheikh in Egypt, and I do not live in those two countries. So I study with them online, and then I spend time in Mecca where I meet my sheikh from Egypt, and I go to Pakistan and I spend time with my sheikh there as well. But I can't do that every day with them. So every day I will have classes online so I can connect with them and I can learn these various different sciences and subjects. Now, when you study one-on-one, the sheikh is looking at you, he's identifying your shortcomings, your needs, you know, like even the real life advice. Sometimes we're studying fiqh and sometimes the lesson is just, it's like so tailor-made for me, man. I can't even explain to you. It's just so tailor-made for me. And it's worlds apart. It's worlds apart. Like even the types of books that we'll study. Like one of our teachers will say to me, Imran, I noticed this style of book, like the way that authors structure their books, this particular style is more beneficial for you. So we're going to choose these type of books to study. And I'm like, Sheikh, but usually it's this book that's recommended, not this one. Like everyone's talking about studying this book. He's like, yeah, I know. But the style of authorship in that is, like you find that a bit hard. This is a bit easier. So this will be more beneficial. And wallahi it is. So that one-on-one relationship, guys, it is really, really amazing. Now, if you have a mindset of, I want to implement the knowledge I learned, and then you're going to a teacher who's teaching you one-on-one, you'll find that you'll be able to implement knowledge a lot better because the knowledge is delivered to you in a way that suits you to implement it in your life, and then you also thinking, I need to implement this. Now, the third thing is also about implementing knowledge, but the third advice I'm going to give you, but it's not about necessarily you implementing it in your life, it's you helping others to implement knowledge. Imam Ahmed was asked, well, why do we seek knowledge? He said, knowledge is sought for two reasons. Number one, رفع الجهل عن نفسي وغيري. He said, I seek knowledge so I can uplift ignorance from myself and others. That's why I'm seeking knowledge, so I can uplift the ignorance from me and from others. So the second one is about helping others to not be ignorant anymore. And I'm not saying here become a da'i, become a ustad, become a sheikh, have a chair in a masjid and start teaching everyone. No, but I want to take it from a slightly different angle. I encourage everyone who's seeking knowledge to study a skill outside of the Sharia. One second, guys, I just have to make sure that the camera's still rolling. Yeah, I really want to encourage everyone who's studying knowledge, who's taking knowledge seriously, to have a skill outside of the Sharia. What am I talking about? Imam Ibn Qayyim said half of fiqh is knowing the Sharia, the other half is knowing the reality to which you're applying the Sharia. So for example, today I was having a conversation with a brother who's, you know, he's into property and real estate, and he is trying to find a solution to create halal financing options where people can buy houses without any riba. And there's these halal finance opportunities out there, but they're actually not halal. So he's like, we actually want to create a halal one, right? So it was amazing because he was telling me that he actually, Allah Barak, he's put together a contract that he's got verified and checked with some mashayikh that it seems like a halal financing option. Like, you know, like a way where for you to get funding for a property, but it's not riba and rather it's something else. Something, I don't want to get too technical, but like something called like musharaka. And musharaka mudaraba type of situation. I don't want to confuse you guys and talk about that specifics, but the point that I meant to mention here is obviously we need to get it verified, double check with some mashayikh and ulama to verify that it actually is completely halal. But based on my very limited understanding, I was like, whoa, you actually seem like you have found a solution here. Like people don't have to go through getting mortgages where there's interest, like loans. And it was amazing because we were talking. He said he actually went and got a diploma in Islamic finance, and not a diploma where it's just some like book stuff, but like an actual one where he went through a syllabus as a student of knowledge studying Islamic finance. And I was like, actually, because you understood your industry, which is real estate and financing, and you also understood the Sharia, you were able to marry the two to create a contract which actually facilitates halal financing. But the problem here is that a lot of the times the students of knowledge are saying this is haram because they don't understand the reality. A lot of the times the guys who don't understand the Sharia are saying this is halal because they understand the reality, but they don't understand the Sharia. Really coming together when you have a skill in the dunya that you're really proficient at, and you understand the Sharia in that particular chapter, you can apply it and create solutions for the Muslims. So you can uplift the ignorance from Muslims and provide solutions for them. It's not just about uplifting the ignorance from them, but the ignorance has to be uplifted so that they can actually action the knowledge that you're teaching them, right? So you create opportunities that they can action. Like, for example, if you're really good into tech or coding or understand how to build, like, AI, machine learning type of stuff, and you understand the Sharia, you can create AI tools for Muslims. You can create softwares and apps for Muslims. Brother Abbas understood how to build apps and also understood what is halal and haram with regards to how to find a wife in a halal way in the Sharia. So myself and him teamed up. Myself and him teamed up to create something called Sunnah Match, which is a halal matchmaking app where you can get married in a way that's halal. And how come all the other ones don't have that halal certification? Because they didn't necessarily study about the issue of the wakil and the wali, the importance of the wali and blah blah. All of these things in the Sharia that we learn, and we're like, okay, cool, but we understand that's halal, that's haram. We understand this. We're also constantly going back to the mashayikh and ulama to make sure that we're not overstepping the boundaries in terms of these new features that we're rolling out. We also understand how to code, so let's connect the two and create opportunities for Muslims. So guys, this would be my advice, man, to students of knowledge who are studying to kind of step up their game. Number one, you're seeking knowledge so you can implement it. Then you will find that when you implement the knowledge, you're showing gratitude to Allah, you'll be increased. Number two, guys, get a teacher one-on-one. Go to your local masjids. Go to your community. It doesn't have to be the celebrity guy that everyone else is running after. And if you can't, go online to Oasis Institute and contact them and say, look, I'm looking for a teacher to teach me. Yeah, come in. Yeah, you can come in. Hi, how are you? To teach you Arabic, to teach you Quran, let them roll out syllabus and let them know, look, I don't just want to study Arabic, but I want to and memorize Quran. No, I want to study the Sharia. And then the third thing is have a skill that you're really proficient in, that you can apply this deen to, okay? So check that out, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And for my brothers, we've got a community online called the Brothers Club Community. It's a community that I've made for people that are interested in progressing as students of knowledge, but at the same time being entrepreneurs. It's free to access. Check it out. It's a great resource. And hopefully you can connect with someone and provide value. If you have that student of knowledge mindset, if you have that business mindset, if you already are a student of knowledge, if you already are a businessman, join the community and hopefully you can benefit others with that. So I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.